So I wrote an article for those who checked out my Facebook page this last week. I wrote an article about the transits that are happening right now, and we talked about them a little bit in the video I did yesterday with my friends Teresa and Sam. But I felt like there should be a video for these specific transits, not just the Grand Cross and stuff that we talked about yesterday. Was that yesterday? Was that the day before? No. Yeah. But specifically what's going on now, because there's so many different astrological phenomenons going on. Whether again it's a Grand Cross, and if you want to check that out, go for it. I know that I knew when I was making it. It's kind of a bummer, but the video and Teresa and Sam knew too. That video is a little bit loud because of Ellie, sweet little baby Ellie. In the future, we'll try and figure out some way to get that to work, because I know that unfortunately babies are quite loud and sometimes louder than adults. So bear with me. I knew when I was doing it, I was like, this isn't quite ideal, but that's part of the energies that are happening right now, is to not get caught up in ideals and to work with what you got and basically just do your best. We have a lot of really interesting conjunctions going on here. Whether it's, and hell, we have a full moon too in this next day of the making of this video, so it's just like, god damn, there's all sorts of energies out there. Mars is in Libra, as it has been since November. It's retrograde until May 20th. It's conjunct the moon as of right now, and will be conjunct the moon for I believe it will, for the full moon. At the very least, there's like 10, 11 degrees difference, not that much difference. So this is a big lesson for all of us to be calm, to relax. We've all been experiencing a huge dearth of vitality the last 6 months, of energy to get forward and get things done. Sure, things can still get done, and have been able to get done, just as always, but this is a huge sign from our solar system, from the universe, for us to relax on Earth. This has been really instrumental, this energy, in making sure that violence is mitigated as much as possible. Again, I know there's been some violence, but this is helping us to move forward as a civilized Aquarian world, a world that cares more about tolerance than hate, love over hate, that cares more about friendship than not diversity, but division, rather, that cares about diversity, that loves diversity. And so these new attitudes are permeating our entire planet right now, and it's kind of difficult. Some people are really challenged by that, and it's not even just the whole. There's a lot of challenges, honestly, right now. Uranus and Mercury, as of the making of this video, are directly conjunct, 13 degrees to conjunct in Aries. And so, and again, since the Grand Cross is going on, we have all these different directions taking us. So we have a powerful conjunction over here, plus a full moon. We have a powerful conjunction over here, and that's where the sun is. And then over off on the wings, we have Venus and Neptune conjunct. Here, I'll show you my little map. Hopefully you can see that. But yeah, so Venus conjunct Chiron, Neptune, Mercury, Uranus, Sun, opposite here. That's where the full moon's happening. Oh wow, that is cool. It's so trippy. So many stripes. Anyways, whatever. I'll just describe it. So we have a lot of stuff going on, a lot of different directions, and we have a lot of powerful energies. When full moons happen, all of us are kind of irrational. All of us are kind of like, oh god, emotions, and add the confusion of Venus and Pisces, conjunct Chiron and Pisces, conjunct of all planets, Neptune and Pisces. We have all of this energy for moving forward, all of this energy for figuring out our egos, figuring out how to balance our needs and be harmonious with other people's needs. And then we have this confusion aspect. And for those with a lot of Piscean energies natally, and especially Venus and Pisces, I find that there's so much confusion happening in their lives, and it's happening for everyone, but especially for those people. There's this like miscommunications happening all the time, and I just have to keep my mouth shut, really, with friends and loved ones who have this energy, because it's just like, okay, you didn't understand where I was coming from. That's fine. If I try and fix the miscommunications, it's just going to get worse. And I think that's a big important lesson for all of us during this time, but especially for those of us who have natal energies, especially Aries, Ryan. Yeah, man, I feel you. That's a lot of Aries energy. I also have a lot of Aries. That's just meow meow, and we are experiencing some interesting stuff going on. But oh man, it's It's helping us. It's helping us move forward. There's always the solar system, how energies work. They're never like, ah, fuck you, you're screwed. You know, it's all gonna go to hell. No way. We have free will, and I think that's important to remember and to keep in mind during all this. Because yeah, we're all going through a lot of confusion, especially in relation to love, in relation to other people. You know, Venus being involved with Neptune in there, and all in Pisces. We're all kind of slipping away into this ideal dreamscape of how life should be, how love should be, how that person and I and all. There's all sorts of weird stuff going on, and that permeates again every single part of our life. And so, a conversation we're having, it could be about something completely mundane, completely different, and a different conclusion is reached. Even in that little example, I just realized there was so much confusion and vagueness, and I know it's because of the energy. So just embrace it, just roll with it. At the end of the day, we're gonna survive. You know, even if we die, we're gonna survive. We're gonna get past it, come back, and we'll be all the stronger for having lived through these energies. So yeah, we have this little bit of confusion, dreaminess, and this is a really good time to kind of retreat from human affairs as much as possible, at least. Because Jupiter's in Cancer, Venus in Pisces, Neptune in Pisces, we have a full moon going on. A lot of people are feeling really agitated. A lot of people are already with full moons, people's emotions reach new heights, and there's just like, it gets really overwhelming. Add the fact that Mars is in Libra, has been for the last 6 months, will be in for the next 2 months, and is retrograde. Add the fact that Saturn's in Scorpio and is retrograde. Add the fact that Mercury and Uranus are together in Aries, and it's just like, okay, let's get through this life one day at a time now, you know? Um, Now really is a good time to kind of take a step back. You know, this morning I was going to do a cusp video, and I was just like, I'm forcing this. This isn't quite the right time. This isn't quite working. And I think it's really important to be honest with yourself during this time. Aries energy is all about honesty, as is fire in general. And Mercury in Aries, especially conjunct Uranus in Aries, can sometimes be painfully, brutally honest. And that is a gift that we need to use in really good ways, and it's also a really challenging thing. Um, and so I really, you know, all of us, we're going to have to be really strong and make sure that we don't attack other people. It's important to be direct right now, yes. Like, direct communication is absolutely necessary. And it's a beautiful thing, it really is. Even if you think it might kind of ruffle some feathers, that's kind of nice where Venus and Pisces is coming in, because it's making sure that we are, even though there's a lot of confusion and a lot of just, what is going on, where am I, what the fuck, even though all that's happening, it is important that we be direct as possible, while still being sensitive to other people. And because that's what's going to help us move forward. Mercury and Uranus, this is an incredible opportunity. It's stressful, especially with the full moon and the opposite. Yeah, man, Mars is 16 degrees retrograde in Libra. Mercury and Uranus are opposite that in Aries. There's a lot of people pissed off because, well, all sorts of things. Essentially, what I find it all boils down to is the economic and social disparities in our country. We have a lot to clean up. Pluto and Capricorn, I say it all the time, but it's that important to keep in mind that, you know, in the time span immediately preceding the American and French revolutions, we had Pluto and Capricorn, and that is an abuse of powers, an abuse of authority, and ultimately it's not like they can get away with it. What it comes down to, and this is actually what we talked about in the video yesterday, so I hope I'm not repeating too much. I don't mean to be. As Teresa said, now is the time to clean all this stuff up. That's why the Grand Cross is there. That's why particularly these energies are there. Instead of taking out our frustration at the lack of resources, at the lack of economic and social fairness in this world, let's work to make positive changes. And ultimately, as Teresa also said, we need to internalize these changes. We need to make it on ourselves. We need to stop trying to find a savior and start doing the work. Again, like Gandhi said, be the change that you wish to be in the world. And it's very interesting that Gandhi was Libra, and here we are with full moon in Libra and Mars in Libra, as well as North Node in Libra. So, North Node, we're moving forward. Our sole purpose, SOUL, right now, is to make the world a more fair, just, harmonious, equal place. It's going to take a long time, but it's not going to take that long, as long as we all chip in and do our work instead of complaining, actually doing something about it. That's a big thing about these energies. A lot of people are going to be complaining out their ass. It's just what's going on, and especially at breakneck speeds with that Uranus Mercury conjunction in Aries. People are going to just be saying things, not even thinking about them, and it's going to have a deep root of anger, of frustration, and people will be taking them out, all this anger and frustration out on other people because they feel so helpless. We all are feeling this right now. Nobody's excluded. These are how this is how our solar system's working. It's how the planets in relation to Earth are functioning. So we have all this energy at our disposal. We have a lot of anger and frustration at our disposal. What should we do with it? A, should we blow up in anger, attack others that don't deserve it and don't understand what's going on and where this is all coming from, making our lives more frustrating in the process and not really getting anything done but creating new problems? Or use that energy in some kind of functional, efficient, positive way to make the world a better place? The energies at hand, that is really our choice. That really is, with what's going on. And with the energies at hand, either way, no matter what you channel your energies into, the negative or the positive of all of these energies, you're going to succeed. So it's really important to make sure that you're focusing your energies towards something positive. It's important for all of us to not go, I'm frustrated at my lack of resources and at my lack of freedom and at my lack of this and my lack of this and lack of this. Let's do something with that, you know? The whole point of the universe providing a challenge is because the solution is there and the solution needs to be found. It's like Albert Einstein said. To solve a problem, you have to have a different mode of thinking. You have to think differently than the way of thinking that created the problem. We have to grow. We have to fucking evolve. Funny, too, that Einstein has Mercury in Aries. So, very poignant for our times. I hope I don't seem... this is where my frustration's coming out. I really hope I don't seem like I'm chiding or scolding or anything. Because if anything, I'm talking to myself just as much, if not more. Well, not just as much as everyone else on this planet. But it's true. We've been experiencing a lot of frustration with this Grand Cross this last couple of months, and it's not a surface. It's not a surface frustration. It goes deep, and it requires deep solutions and deep positive fundamental changes in our world. Again, positive, not violent, evolutionary, not revolutionary, as Teresa says. Awesome. We all have to find our place. We all have to do our part. And it's up to all of us. There's no savior here. We don't need to try and be a savior for everyone in our lives, for the entire world. We just have to be our own savior. And that's all we really need at the end of the day. It feels like we have to be these superheroes to change things. But really, we just have to be human. You know, superhuman, if you will, in the sense that we're embracing being human, we're embracing our role, but also embracing the fact that we have brothers and sisters that have their responsibility as well as their role to play as well. So I think these things are really important, and we're moving ahead. We really are moving ahead with all this Aries transit this last month. We've moved ahead so much, let alone with this Grand Cross in general. And I think now is the time to be compassionate, to exercise that Venus-Neptune conjunction, because that's also very beautiful, especially with Chiron, as a beautiful conjunction at healing emotional wounds, especially in relation to other people, and especially in relation to just yourself, and as well as spirituality and whatnot, since Neptune's involved. So I think now is the time to channel all that anger and frustration that you have into something positive, something that you're going to feel really happy about, and that you know is going to fulfill yourself, and thus fulfill the world. Do that while still being very patient. Again, Mars and Libra, man, it's not easy. It hasn't been easy at all for any of us this last 6 months, or 6 months, damn, to deal with this lack of vitality, and especially since Mars is retrograde now, it feels like it is impossible to move forward. It's like we're clawing. Don't claw. Relax. Take your time. Okay, now is the time to sit back on our laurels. We can't pay all our bills right now. We can't do everything that we're trying to do. That's really not through so much fault of ours, but our economic system again. And we all know the challenges that we face, and we all have a role to play in those solutions for those challenges. You know, I mean, human beings, You can't control the world. There's no institution, no organization. I'm always interested, mildly, not really too much, by the whole Illuminati conspiracy stuff. It really comes down to corruption, political and social corruption. People cannot control the world. A small group cannot control the world. Not at all. They can influence it, and they have, ultimately, yes. But dear God, the people are so infinitely stronger than those in power. And again, not violent revolution. Take it from me. My most recent past life was too full of that. Um, we are meant to evolve to include those that are really fucking up and using billions and just ridiculous corporate theft. We're meant to involve those people as much as possible. It doesn't mean giving them a clean slate, but it means stop having and fostering this us versus them mentality. I think that's a big part of this full moon too, is since we have Aries, all about us, me rather, and Libra, them, you, this is a big chance for us to work through these frustrations of us versus them. That's the kind of mentality that human beings have had since the very beginning. And you know, just rightfully so when earlier on in our evolution, as we were having different civilizations and wars and resources and stuff, it was quite prudent actually to have an us versus them policy, because them were the people who were trying to kill and rape and pillage and stuff. We are not in that time anymore. We are in the time of a global consciousness, and it's not going to just snuff out and then return to or revert. You know, I think something like a nuclear war would have to happen, and I'm perfect faith that's not going to happen. We've gotten past that little challenge. I think that was 20th century. But in any case, obviously we still have this threat to work with, so we got to make sure. But in any case, I do really honestly sense and think logically that we are going to always be moving forward and building off of this global consciousness that we have created, that we've grown up until this point. And I think the next step is to completely cease wars, you know, to completely cease human beings fighting human beings. We've got to get past this, and we've been addicted for so many generations. As Mike, Teresa's husband, said, you know, some people have been warriors for so long, it's very difficult for them to switch that off. The beautiful thing is this, and that's what the energies are working with us, telling us, is you can be a warrior for peace. You can be a warrior doing things without hurting people and being violent. And I think ultimately, especially with this Piscean energies, we are meant to be cleaning up all of this war energy. Mars is retrograde, as is Saturn. We're all facing fate from the past, from past lives. We're all facing ego energies that aren't easy to work with. We're facing a lot of tension here, a lot of bitterness. But ultimately, you got to face something to get through it, to grow past it. And I see that happening right now. Honestly, that is the opportunity for these energies. And we're all kind of being fried a little bit, especially those with a lot of Aries, kind of going, oh my god, what the fuck, you know, with Uranus's involvement and everything. And a lot of confusion too with Venus and Neptune, and like, how do I get out? I'm in darkness, I don't even see a light. It's challenging. And with the full moon this next day, and with the lunar eclipse, the blood moon, you know, it's, let's not mince words, it is challenging. Again, we are unearthing. We're going so deep. Saturn and Scorpio retrograde. We're going so deep emotionally to exercise our demons, to purify those negative emotions. We will succeed. We just have to keep pushing forward, and we have to have the right mindset, the right intentions. Only then will we succeed. It's inevitable, but this is a great opportunity to do it. So let's do it now as much as possible. Let's do it now, okay? I really, really, really think that's a great idea. The more we move ahead now means the less we move ahead later. But again, let's take our time. Mars is retrograde in Libra. It will be for the next couple of months. I know, feels like things are taking forever, but there's a reason they are. Gotta trust it, even if we don't know what that reason is. And let's keep moving forward. You're not in this alone. None of us are. You know, none of us are suffering alone. We're always working with each other, and we always are impacting each other. So let's turn that suffering into something positive. Let's sublimate it. Let's turn that frustration into something positive. It's up to you to figure out what it is. It's Aries, Mercury Aries, South Node Aries, Uranus Aries. You're going to know ultimately better than anyone. So don't listen to other people's chiding or scolding or trying to break you down for what you truly feel you need to do. It's not even the thinking so much as what do I need to do? I know in my heart, in my soul, my being. What motivates me? This is a great time for us to strip away what's not important in life and to focus on what really is and to make those positive changes. Only then will all the other periphery challenges be solved. You got to embrace your personal strength in this time, as well as marry that with your embracing of other people's strengths. Wow, this is a long video. Okay, so that's pretty much everything I had to say. Hopefully that is a little useful tidbit for what's going on energetically. We'll get through it. We will. We are getting through it. We've been through far worse. Alright. Namaste. For those who've noticed, yes, it is bathrobe season. Alright, see it.